I'm in Spain. I've just spent the day riding the new MT-10. It's a bike a lot of people have been waiting for. The ultimate MT, potentially the ultimate super naked. It's Yamaha's R1 powered naked bike, using not an R1 engine from a few generations ago, but the latest R1 engine, as well as the latest R1 mainframe. So is it the ultimate brains out hyper naked? No, it's a lot more than that.
The R1's 998cc inline 4 has been reined back from 200 horsepower to a claimed 160, the same as BMW's S1000R. 40% of the engine parts have been changed, including the cylinder design and pistons, according to Yamaha, leaving me wondering when it stops being an R1 engine. The airbox has grown from 10 to 12 litres, all for better low to mid-range torque, and the exhaust pipes are steel instead of titanium. It's not quite the animal I might have expected low down in the range at about, say, 4,000 RPM, but a moment later it goes rabid, with the front end keen to take off at about 7,000 RPM in second. All the gears are shorter than the R1s, thanks to a rear sprocket which has 43 teeth instead of 41. Along with a lower red line at 12,000 instead of 14,000, that means a top speed in first of about 70 miles per hour compared to about 100 on the R1. A more useful gearing ratio for the road. When I posted a sample of the sound of the cross-plane crank engine on our Facebook page, somebody said it sounded like a couple of wasps in a tin can. Their laptop speakers won't have helped, but it is a bit tinny. It doesn't match the smooth power delivery. It's good that it's not a brute low down because it makes the top end more accessible. For all its new parts and stronger mid-range, the revvy spirit of the R1 is alive in there. At 10,000 RPM, a white light flashes on the digital dash telling you to change up. Considering the power, it's easy to stay close to that light with frequent gear shifts. A slipper clutch helps keep the bike settled on downshifts by reducing back torque, and there's also an optional quick shifter for £199.99. The R1's complicated electronics have been simplified to 3 riding modes and 3 level traction control which can be switched off. There's a place for sophisticated electronics, but it's always a relief to ride a machine without them that lets you focus on riding it instead of programming it. As usual, each riding mode offers a different level of torque in response to a given throttle input. I decided to test the waters before diving in by riding in standard mode, the softest, for the first couple of hours of the launch ride in southern Spain. The initial throttle response in that mode is so smooth you could forget you were on a naked R1 until you open the throttle a bit more. In the most aggressive mode there's much more initial punch, but all the modes unleash full power and torque as you turn the throttle a bit more, so standard is really just giving you a bit more throttle play. Changing modes is done by pushing one button with the throttle closed. Unusually, when you turn the ignition off, it remembers what mode you're in instead of reverting to the softest, like some kind of 160 horsepower nanny. Like the engine, the chassis has been adapted for its new assignment, with 60% of parts altered, including the yokes and steel subframe according to Yamaha. The rider has been moved forward, putting 51% of the weight on the front wheel. The most important bit, the aluminium Delta Box mainframe, is unchanged, and possibly the machine's best asset. It's also got the R1 swing arm and fully adjustable KYB front and rear suspension with settings tweaked. Like the R1, the MT-10 is very small, or it seems very small, and it feels lighter than its claimed 210 kilograms with a full tank. Turn after turn on sunny mountain roads, the physical work was light. The wide bars make for easy countersteering, helping to chuck the bike quickly into a lean. They're within easy reach and the pegs are straight below the seat. It's not quite as Street Fighter-like as a Z1000, but not far off. So you feel over the front wheel, looking straight down the forks. It's conducive to leaning forward a little to counter hard acceleration forces. When the front goes light, as it does, the chassis retains its R1 derived stability. The Bridgestone Backlax Hypersport rubber nearly always performed well, but there was one moment when the rear began to let go in a corner, moving sideways a little, and it was warm and dry. The riding position is comfortable. After 200 miles I was ready for more. That's what surprised me about the MT-10, not its sharp handling or huge torque, but the fact it's such a usable motorcycle. I hadn't believed it when Yamaha had said that little cowl over the headlight provided wind protection, but it does, enough to eliminate neck strain at motorway speeds for an average height rider. It comes with cruise control, which works in 4th to 6th gear at 30 to 110 miles an hour. See how long your nerve lasts with that set to 110 miles an hour. Of course I didn't do that. The beefier subframe has mountings for a pair of optional zip-closing semi-rigid panniers. They're part of an accessory range which also includes a taller screen, transforming the bike effectively into a sports tourer. The pillion pegs will be the thing that limit two-up touring potential. I tried them out perching on the pillion seat and I think my knees are above my ears. Now, while powerful, the front brake doesn't have quite the precise progressive feel of the very best modern setup, but of course, that would cost more. And like all MTs, this bike is very competitively priced at £9,999 plus road tax and first registration fee. Take that BMW S1000R with your from 10,350. That's probably the MT-10's closest competitor, and I can't wait for our back-to-back test. If you want a devastating engine, the MT-10 has it. If you want to wheelie everywhere, it will do it in almost every gear, as braver journalists than me repeatedly demonstrated. And if you want a really good road bike, an all-rounder to live with as a practical motorcycle, it will do that too. Good luck S1000R, it's going to be hard to beat.